not want to leave Hawaii. Like, it's like my home. I've been living here for like 16 years. So I don't want to leave this place.
Everything is so expensive and nothing really seems like it's getting better.
I really want to go back to Maui, live, raise a family there, and it is very scary.
I honestly worried about every day, and I don't think a girl who just turned 20 should be having to worry about where she's going to live or where she's going to buy a house, and if she can.
I feel like in my future, when I become an adult, I feel like that I might have to live in the mainland in order for housing to be more affordable for me.
I have plenty of cousins that, were born and raised here for the first few years of their life, but unfortunately they've had to move to Las Vegas. I have a lot of family living in Alaska, a lot in California, and these are all, local families that have been here for generations, but now they're not, and a lot of them can't even come home and visit very often. So it's kind of sad that they get that connection sort of cut off.
My friend had just come back to visit, and she was talking to me very openly and very bluntly that she felt like she missed out a lot by not being here. She feels like she has, again, this disconnect between herself and her identity and her community because she was not here and she didn't learn. She wasn't immersed in the culture. She feels like she lost out a big part of herself being away for so long and so far. And I feel like that story is probably echoed by a lot of diaspora Kanaka Maoli across the continent and beyond.
It's definitely kind of like this looming thing, thinking of purchasing a home down the line.
Even now, the house that I'm living in Maui, where my family is, it's already so much, so I can't imagine in 10 years when I want to purchase a house. I lived in my childhood house until I was 8th grade, and that house was the first official house where my family stayed in after they immigrated from the Philippines. So it was originally a 3-bedroom house, and there was the 10 of us. So me and my parents and my brother were in one room, and then my grandparents was in the second room, and then my uncle's family was in the third room. It was definitely a small house for too much of us, but I was super blessed and privileged because I was really close with my family.
We were kind of forced out. My grandparents were forced out. They just couldn't afford it anymore. And, we had to go through the long process, like over the entirety of a few months over summer, moving everything, and then having them go through all of their things was just a lot to deal with. And it also was just physically demanding for everyone, especially them, who my grandparents thought they could pick up these boxes. I'm like, please don't do any of that. But they did. And, you could see the toll it took on them. And then just now, it's kind of irritating to me to drive by, and we always drive by the house and see how it's very messy. It's just quite obvious that I think a group of college students live there because they have like a makeshift bar out in the yard that I used to run around with my cousins in and play games, and they have like a bar and like these lawn chairs. I don't know. It just looks like not my childhood home, and it's upsetting because it's unfair to me that these people who are privileged enough get to live in the home that my grandparents were supposed to stay in for the rest of their lives, and we were forced as a family to pick up and leave.
The place where I live, it's mostly, old Japanese uncles and aunties, but a lot of them are, passing away because that's just how it goes. But the people that are moving in, none of them are familiar to me. It's people from all around the continental US or other places in the world, and it's not only my neighborhood too. It's just kind of across Wailua, sort of this gentrification. There's a lot of old family houses that are being sold and then renovated and then sold for 2-3 times more than what they were bought for, and of course, it's not going to be, local families that are affording those flipped homes.
I don't think a lot of people outside of Hawaii or who aren't Kanaka Maoli have to worry about that as much. That you can settle down anywhere, but not us. We want to be here. We want to stay here. We want to, live here, die here. But that's hard because I'm scared that I won't have that opportunity. I won't be able to afford to stay where I'm meant to be on my own, on my own land, on my own homeland as an Indigenous person.
Hawaii is such a desirable place for people to live in. But right now, anyone around the world can buy out Hawaii. And the local families that I feel like kind of deserve to have a place here in Hawaii can't compete with, outside money.
I was never lonely in my childhood, which I'm very lucky for. There was a lot of Filipino families in my street too, so we got close. My family got close with all the other families. Back then, with the Manny Pacquiao fights, I remember my house was always hosting the fights, so I remember a bunch of families always coming over with food, and we'll always watch the Manny Pacquiao fights. So yeah, I definitely miss that.
My grandparents used to take me to school, and every morning I would be like, "Oh, grandma, grandpa, can you guys take me down to the harbor? I want to go look at the fish." And I was like, "Oh yeah." So I think some of my fondest memories were just those 15-30 minutes every day walking around Haleiwa Harbor with my grandparents and just looking at all the different fish and talking story with the fishermen who would come in and who were leaving. And yeah, that's gotta be it. The harbor strolls with my grandparents.
My parents work a lot, and they used to leave me and my sister with my grandparents so they can watch us. But I remember really vividly, my papa used to take me to that fish market. I don't know, I was so excited to see the fish because you could tell they were fresh because they would jump on the floor and they would just jump around. And just seeing that made me really happy, just being with my papa and creating those memories.
One thing I always remember is my grandpa. He would make us milkshakes every time we asked, but he would always put way too much ice cream per can. And I was this little 10-year-old with this giant liter cup of shake, and my grandma would be like, "Why are you giving them so much?" He goes, I wanted them to have enough. Where he's they asked for that many. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't ask for that much. You just said that. Just anything in that house, which is again why it makes it so sad to me. It's just all the memories I have in that house are amazing. Just spending quality family time. I grew up there, having my grandparents so close and seeing them so often was just, yeah, some of the best memories I've ever had.
I really want to see a future where local people of Hawaii can actually thrive in Hawaii and not just survive. And survive, I mean, I know some families that have to have rooms so they can have more room for their families. And it's just always scraping by.
It's important for us to speak out and speak up because, it's our future and the future of our kids and our grandchildren and all those that come after us. And, if we don't say anything, then who will? If not us, then who? And if not now, then when? It's our responsibility to not only set that up for ourselves, but also for the future generations.
Hawaii just has such a rich history, I feel like, and that history is made up of the people that reside here and choose to live here and have lived here. And I have plenty of friends that aren't from Hawaii, and they all say the most special thing about Hawaii is the people and I guess kind of the spirit that we have over here.
The local people of Hawaii are the basis of the culture. Our families, our aloha, it's all contained in there, I think. And that's just where the heart of the culture is.
It's a different vibe here. Everyone's so friendly, everyone's so nice, everyone's willing to help you even though you're a stranger. And they're willing to just give up their time and love just for you, even though you might not know them or they might not know you.
It's everything, like I said before. It's a sibling, it's a relative, it's a mother, it's a father, it's a grandparent. Like, it's the land is a family member, and to be here is what makes it the most special to me, is because I'm related to the land, and I'm devoting my life to protecting it and to protecting my people.